Hello, Huskies back again with the start of another NHL 17 GM mode franchise mode commentary. So far this game we have done the Minnesota Wild, the Vancouver Canucks, a created team, the Seattle Bobcats, which is using the Winnipeg Jets roster, and we just got done, and after that we did the Washington Capitals, and we just got done with a dual commentary with myself of the Sharks and the Oilers. So we've done 6 GM modes with only one Eastern Conference team. And while I would like to do another Eastern Conference team, my plan all along was to end off with my favorite team, i.e., the team I follow, which is the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm from Chicago. This is the team I follow. Now, if you watch my videos, there's an argument that can be made. I could also do a Toronto Maple Leafs video because I follow them as well. Toronto doesn't strike me as nearly as fun. They've already got Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Morgan Riley, Frederick Anderson. They've got cap space. They have players they can trade. And I just think the Hawks prevent a better challenge because, well, Kane and Taves both make at least $10 million. There's going to be cap issues. I'm going to have to break it down. I plan on posting this to my Facebook, which is my personal Facebook, which most of the people there are from Chicago and are Hawks fans. So I want to make people upset. I want to get people. I want to rustle some feathers with the moves I make. Being this is my favorite team, I won't. I mean, I obviously have, some bias towards certain players, but at the same time, because Chicago is not the only team I follow, and I feel like I have a decent sense on hockey. Maybe not the names in hockey, as we've learned very quickly, but the game itself. I don't think I will be persuaded to make any dumb moves just because they're already on the roster. I did a Hawks GM mode in, I think, NHL 13, so what, 4 years ago? So yeah, I have some history, but in that I traded Hosa, I traded a whole bunch of big names. Now, unlike previous GM modes here, I'm actually going to leave the trade difficulty at medium because I hate the AI, it's a pain in the ass, and I also need to change the injury occurrence down. Put this down to 10, and we will get started. My past couple GM modes, I tried to stick to a single video per day, but I don't think that's going to be possible because sometime in the next few weeks I'm supposed to start work. I don't know when or when. No, I have no idea when, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Edmonton Oilers Sharks schedule where every other day is a video, and I plan on starting Southampton, my FIFA one, on Monday. I finally have the house to myself, and I don't have to be asked to do anything. I can just kind of chill out and play games until I start work. So I plan on starting Southampton either Sunday or Monday. I finally got around to getting everything ready to go, but anyway, back to Chicago. Now, I had some debate with myself if I should do this with the moves that have been made already this summer. And what I'm talking about is Patrick Sharp, Brandon Saad, Panarin. Like, should I have done the summer stuff? But after looking at the rosters, and EA has not released a roster for this game since April, which I believe is the playoff roster. So I'm just going to go back to using my edited prospect roster. So this team will be exactly the same as when the season started. Manage rosters. So not manage rosters. I wanted contracts. This video is just going to be introduction to the team, figure out what I want to do with the team, go over what I have prospect-wise. Cap space, I don't have any cap space. Good to know. I have none. I have $130,000 in cap space. All right, so let's sort this by overalls, and let's take a look-see here. So obviously the big two that pop out: Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, 10.5 each for 5, 6, 7 for 7 seasons at 10.5. Now they're both 20s. Kane's 27, Toews 28, so they're going to be playing until they're 34 and 35. Now, obviously, this team is pretty much a win. This team is a win as long as they're here team. But am I guaranteeing that they're going to be here the whole time? Absolutely not. I'm not against trading Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane if need be. But at the same time, as 94 overalls, we saw what I had to pay McDavid as a 94. He made 9 point something. But as long as we have Duncan Keith on a $5.5 million deal, he's signed for the same length. Granted, he's 33. He's only going to be here for probably 2 or 3 more seasons. Brent Seabrook is already on the chopping block. I 31 years old, $6.8 million for, was it 5 seasons? It's 8 seasons. 8 years at 6.8. That's too much for a 31-year-old. So he's going to be probably the first one to go. Hjalmarsson makes a nice deal. 4.1 for, what, 3 years? For 3 more years. Marian Host is 37. I doubt he gets past this season. He makes 5.2. Artemi Panarin makes 6. Not horrible. Hopefully he progresses like he has in the other GM modes. Panarin might be somebody that I axe as well. But my first line is Kane, Toews, Panarin. Done. That's just what I was going to be. Panarin is definitely more of a playmaker than he is a sniper. I know he's listed as a sniper, but his shot's not the best. Whereas if I go to Kane, who is a sniper, 95, 89, 95, 92. So we've got Toews in the middle. So I want to do Panarin, Kane, Toews as my first line. That way Panarin gets 2 years of solid progression and might hit a 90 overall. That's what we're looking for. Anisimov is my second line center, 86 overall, 28 years old. He makes 3.2 for the next 4 years. That is a great deal for a second line center, because he could possibly get up to an 88 overall for 3.2. Absolutely. Brian Campbell, 1.5. He's going to be going. He's going to retire. Marcus Kruger is a big one. I love Kruger's defensive skills in this game. He's a great bottom 6 guy, but he makes $3 million, and that's not cutting it. So he'll probably be moved. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, we'll have to keep an eye on. He's still on he's got a bridge deal, essentially, to see if he progresses. He's got 1 more year of progression, so if he gets to, I mean, he might hang around just for this whole fact that he's going to be cheap. Desjardins, bottom 6. Rasmussen, bottom 6. Kempney, bottom pair. Roosevelt is going to retire after this year. Richard Panik, which it's a shame. He's got decent stats, but he's not going to have a 20-goal season like he did in real life. So it's going to be... That's the biggest problem with the Hawks in video games in terms of GM mode, is they're a real-life team that does not translate well to video game hockey. Because there's too many outliers on this team. Like, you see how hard it falls off from 84 to 81. Like, you can't rate Richard Panik or Ryan Hartman or Nick Schmaltz or Vinny Hinostroza higher than these ratings, because they're not, because they haven't proved themselves despite playing 30, 40, 50 games. Jordan Tutu, he's going to be an AHL guy. Tanner Caro, he's a 72 overall. He's on the main roster, that's why he's so far down. He's just a guy that's had time, that's why he's there. But Nick Schmaltz is good progression, possibly. Same for Hinostroza. Ryan Hartman has a tendency to get to like an 85 or 86. So if these guys can pan out just to be second or third line players, that's fine. That's all we need. Because our first line is set with Kane, Toews, and Panarin. I don't have to sign any of them. Granted, they take up, what? 22 million. They take up 28 of my $71 million. Or 77. Sorry, they take up 28 of my $73 million in cap space. So that's a bit much. But now if we look in the system, these are guys that are close to being ready to play, but not so much. Billy Polka is a defenseman in this game that turns out really good usually. 85, 86, I've seen him get as high as 88. It's just a matter if he plays, and he should play. I don't see why he wouldn't. I don't have any interest in using Brian Campbell. Mark McNeil, decent power forward. again, we have these prospects that they're high quality, like their potentials are good, but they're 22, 23, 24, 25. Like they're past that 21 and 20 year age that they're going to get a solid progression out of them, and that's what sucks. I am glad that they edited some of the overalls, because when the game came out and Michael Kempney was signed to Chicago, you can see he's an 80 overall now. He was a 65. He was an expected NHL defenseman, and he was a 65 overall. It's so the ratings get a little skewed with some of these guys, because the Hawks don't build through the AHL, not necessarily anymore. They're signing guys from Europe. They're signing guys from college that don't get proper rating from EA. But back to our prospects, Eric Gustafsson, again, high quality potential, but he's already 24. He's got 2 years left of progression. I mean, technically 3, but he probably won't get higher than an 83 overall. David Rundblad, he's not going to get any higher. Let's see. Sorry, I have to check the thermostat because it feels really cold in here right now. Make sure it's not running. Okay, it's not. Victor Svedberg, again, 25 years old. We have a bunch of like bottom 6 or bottom pairing guys. Sam Carrick, 24. Tyler Mott, he's actually a decent trade piece. He's on his entry level deal. He's 77. He's only an AHL top 6, but the computer loves AHL top 6s, especially if they're high. But at the same time, this kid, I've seen AHL top 6s get to high 80s, mid 80s. So he's got 3 years of progression. He's going to be playing top line minutes in the AHL. Maybe he becomes a bottom 6 scorer for it. Maybe he becomes our Sebastian Aho of this team. Lalonde, nothing. Brandon Mashinter, nothing. Gustav Forsling is another guy. 7th defenseman. He'll play top AHL minutes. Yoni Tulolo, again, AHL minutes. I'll probably just sign him. Can I sign him now? I can. But I don't have to. He's a rookie still. But once we get past those guys, it's pretty... Alex DeBrincat, he is our best prospect. 18 years old, playmaker, he's 5'7". He turned into a really good top 6 forward if he gets time. And I don't have any use for him right away, so he can stay in Erie and play the next 2 seasons in juniors, and then hit the AHL for a season probably. But after that, I think this Fortin kid, didn't the kid retire? I don't remember. There's an AHL, there's a prospect in the Hawk system that retired because of injuries. Kyle Bond. I mean, we have a lot of we have a lot of prospects who didn't pan out, or are in the midst of panning out. So it's a tough stretch. It's going to be interesting to see who I want to keep and who I want to get rid of. But if we look at goaltenders were set. Corey Crawford's a 90. Scott Darling's an 80 overall. I'm surprised he's not higher rated. We don't have any goaltending in the system at all whatsoever. So I need to probably sign on a younger goaltender. Now, every GM mode I've done, I've gone out and I've got Korpisalo or Bobrovsky. I want to avoid Korpisalo this time because I know that there are plenty of goalies that can progress to NHL elite status. So I think I'm going to try to grab a goalie in the draft instead of trying to make a move for him. Because I don't want to just run through the same. Like, I'm not going to sign Alexi Solara this time either. I've signed him in the past couple ones, and I think it's just getting a little cheesy. Plus, I don't have any cap space. So, I mean, I know he signs a 2-way deal, but still. But let's go set up our team. Like I said, we're. It'll be easier to look at what I have to offer, or what is on the table in the edit line screen, because I can set up who's going to play where and everything. It's a little tough. I do want to look over our trade values to see if we have guys that aren't going to pan out. I know Mark McNeil's a guy that has pretty high trade value for somebody that I'm probably never going to use. Oh, never mind, actually. We don't have the highest trade values here to work with. It's not terrible. We have a lot of guys that teams are going to want, which helps. This From kid. Matthias Froma from Denmark. Interesting. Alright. But yeah, like I said, we don't have any goaltenders in the system. We have 4 goalies and we have Crawford. Or we have 3 goalies and Crawford. Draft pick wise, I think I left legacy picks on. Yeah, we have Anaheim 7. So we have all of our draft picks this season. So we'll see if I want to trade out of the first round. It depends on our performance, obviously. But I would like to hold on to that pick because the first year's draft is just so good. Well, it's not really, but since I've changed prospects to make it good, it's worth keeping. But let's get our line set up, and then I think I will call it an opening video. I don't anticipate year 1 being full of moves. No, go away. Alright, so if I best lines this, we have Panarin, Kane, and Taves. That's what I want. Richard Panik, and Nisimov, and Hossa. That's probably not terrible. Richard Panik is a sniper after all, and Hossa will put up points. The only issue is in the two-way forwards. Who do I have scratched? Roosevelt, Caro, and Hinestroza. Alright, so who's in the AHL? Let's best lines this. Tyler Mott, Mark McNeil, Spencer Abbott. I don't really... Sam Carrick's 24, Jake Dowell, Kyle Bond. Now, I'm very familiar with this team, so I should know how to say everybody's names. I think I'm actually going to call up one of these guys, because I don't have Oduya, right, because he was a middle of the year deal. I have Michael Kempney, Jalmerson Campbell. See, I like Campbell, but if I want guys to progress, I think I need to send... I don't think Kempney's going to get any better, so I think I'm going to swap out Michael Kempney for... Oops. Nope. Damn it. I'm doing all sorts of things wrong here. I'm going to swap out Michael Kempney for Ville Polka, because I want Polka to get that nice boost that he is expected to get. So we've got that change making. Offensively, this is probably what we're going to have to work with. Desjardins, Schmaltz, Hartman. This team is built with a bunch of two-way forwards. What is Hinestroza? Is he a two-way forward as well? No, he's a playmaker. So I'm actually going to get Hinestroza in the lineup instead of Jordan Tutu. I don't mind Jordan Tutu, but I think Hinestroza as a playmaker with the amount of two-way forwards this team has. And I'm actually going to put Rasmus. Wait, who's got the 26, 30, 20, 22, 26, 22. Alright, so I don't anticipate Marcus Kruger being here much longer. What do we got for roles? Minor, depth, fourth, minor. Alright, so everybody's where they should be, and then Richard Panik is a depth. See, on paper, this team should not win games, but this is the roster that won the Western Conference this past season, so, I mean... They're not a video game team. But again, once the season gets going, you'll see just how hard Panarin, Taves, and Kane carry this team. And defensively, we're so good defensively that it works out. Plus, having a 90 overall goalie also kicks in. But I'm actually going to do that swap real quick. This will be the last thing I do. Just going to send Tanner Caro down. And I'm going to call it Ville Polka. I mean, I could call up Mark McNeil. I'm actually going to call up Mark McNeil. And I'm going to send down Michael Kempney. That puts me over the cap though, doesn't it? Oh, actually, no, it doesn't. No, it does. So I just have to send somebody down. Sorry, Tutu. Alright, so there we go. So let's edit my lines here. Alright, so I'm actually gonna see, but I don't wanna... This is where it comes in, because I don't want to scratch... Actually, I can scratch the Jardins for McNeil. McNeil's a power forward. He should be a depth forward, I feel. Yeah. Because I want Hinestroza, Hartman, and Schmaltz to play because they're all young. Rasmussen's 26, so we'll see if he plays. He might get swapped out for Desjardins. What's McNeil's faceoff? 79. Kruger has 84, Nisimov has 73, and Jonathan Taze has 85. As far as Taze doesn't have higher faceoffs. Let's get Polka in the lineup. Actually do that. There we go. Actually gonna put Polka on the second pairing. Because Campbell, he's a top 4 defenseman, but he's only gonna play here 1 year. Alright, but there we go. As you can see, this team needs some work bottom 6-wise, but I feel like because our top 6 and our top 4 are so good, that they will carry this team. Really banking on Kane and Taze to carry the load and Panarin to get a nice little stat boost. But that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you for checking out episode 1. Like I said, this is going to be an every other day series. And I think I recorded this in the wrong quality. So starting episode 2, we'll be back to 1080p. Ideally. I just noticed it looking at the screen. But yeah. Remember to leave a like. Always leave a like for the first video, please. That's the best way to kick a series off. That's the way it gets people interested. And this is the team that I know the best. So it should be a rather informative thing. I shouldn't mess up people's names. Ideally. I mean, I absolutely will, but yeah, thank you for watching. And hopefully I see you back on Monday for episode 2.